Robin.
We have lots going on. Otto and George signing in. Jesse Ventura is in the building, by the way.
Who cares, dude? For sure he's saying something outrageous.
He was on Piers Morgan last night.
Terrific.
And Piers gave him the business. We'll have a couple clips. But Jesse was walking around yesterday saying that he's doing every show at Sirius except for one.
Good. Who gives a fuck? Literally, honestly, he is absolutely mean. You want to do the show? Great. You don't want to do the show? Who cares? You can't handle being argued with? What a fucking baby.
Yeah, you were a governor? You should be able to take a little abuse and be able to argue your point. But
I didn't make it personal. Yeah, you did. And we got the tape. You were the first one to insult. And all you Jesse fans out there that get mad, like, yeah, he should have kicked you. Fuck you, too.
I say to this day that Jesse was in way over his head, and he couldn't handle it on an intellectual level, and that's why he truly walked out of this.
He was the first one,
and that's why he'll never come back either, because he knows he was outmatched.
Good. Bye. Go take your softball fucking things or your polite debates where people don't call you out on your bullshit, which is asking a question and then when there's a follow-up question, just saying something, go, oh, yeah, okay, I believe that. Yeah, excellent point.
Because you're a great point. You're a big, strong guy that has opinions, and you think you're intelligent. Then why wouldn't you come back and argue again?
Yeah, but those guys actually.
Why wouldn't you?
Those guys go out on these press things to promote shit, and they have a script that they're actually using over and over and over again. It's like they're doing jokes. The same script.
Yes.
When you fucked with that, he had nothing to say. What was he going to do?
I don't care if he likes me. It is of absolutely no value either way. The only thing is that I wish that the video that was online showed the entire argument, because it makes it look like I went after him when I didn't, because you don't see the beginning where he was nasty to me first. So all you dummies out there that will go, hey, how come you're just a tactical? Listen to the audio, because the video doesn't tell the full story. So if you've and I've actually had people email me and say nasty shit. I'm like, you fucking dope. Did you listen to the audio? No. Go listen to it, and you tell me I insulted him first.
The whole audio's online.
Yeah, I know it is.
Yeah.
But they're lazy.
The video that got really popular is, unfortunately, right before, he walked out. But
yeah.
The whole video, the whole interview is certainly online.
So it looks like the governor's being rational, and I'm just attacking him.
Yeah, no.
But the audio leading up to that was he fucking insults me, calls me an asshole. He's like, he got nasty first, and he doesn't want to admit that, because then it makes it look like he got what he had coming, which was being insulted.
Yeah, point after point, he was getting his ass kicked. More importantly, Bobby, once again, not caring about what's going on in the studio, had to take a picture with his giant camera.
I'm just trying to do what Anthony does when he's here with all the chicks and stuff, and trying to get the video and all kinds of things going on.
I hate your iPad 2 fucking camera.
Why?
Why would you want to take pictures like that?
Like what?
It's giant.
It's not a giant.
It's a giant camera.
It's not. It's the same camera that's in your iPhone.
I don't have an iPhone.
It's not a fucking giant, because it's not a bigger camera.
You just held
jackass.
up this giant thing to take a picture of Jimmy.
I held up the iPad.
Why is that cool technology?
The camera's that small. It's a pinhole.
Yeah, but it looks like the whole thing's a camera now.
They don't
when you
adjust
lift it
the
up.
size of the camera to the fucking product.
I just hate it. I just hate what you just did. I just hate it.
I agree with you. No more iPad. I'm done. I'm all done.
You're into the iPad too?
I'm into the iPad too. I was actually listening to the actual argument you guys were saying, but
what argument?
About stupid Jesse.
Jimmy's way right on this one.
He's absolutely right.
It was a great debate that day, and I saw Jesse was just crumbling, and he had nothing to come back with. Some pretty heavy questions.
Yeah, because
heavy questions were being asked. He had nothing that day.
Because he's never been debated. No one ever came across, and Jimmy was doing it in an aggressive way, and he's used to.
It wasn't that aggressive at
first, right?
Yeah, but he's used to being the big guy and intimidating people, and you didn't give a shit about if he hit you or not. That's one thing that nullifies a fucking big guy who usually intimidates people with their size and their strength or how they look. When a guy doesn't care about getting a beating, that nullifies their fucking bullshit, and that's what you did. You nullified his threats of stares and.
There was one moment where where it really began to, like, we were debating, and he said something about because I hadn't served, and I was saying I want guys over there fighting, and I explained to him why I felt Afghanistan was justified, as opposed to I felt it was a reaction to being attacked on 9/11,
Right?
And the Taliban was protecting bin Laden and wouldn't give him up, and that's why I felt it was an appropriate reaction. And it was a good explanation, and I was rational with him, and he gave me such a snotty fucking teenage girl answer. He said, I wasn't listening. Like then he started just being a jerk off, and then we just started getting nasty with each other. But I remember that moment. That's not in the video, I don't think. Maybe it is. I haven't watched it in a long time.
There's a lot of Jesse Ventura videos online.
Yeah.
And in a lot of these videos, you can see that he can't really back up a lot of his stuff.
He stinks. And I'm telling you, when he says we're talking about JFK, he's fucking quoting Oliver Stone's movie.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah.
It seemed pretty accurate,
shit.
but in the end, it was...
But you guys act surprised. This guy he wore a boa.
No.
He's a wrestler.
No. We're surprised because he was the governor of Minnesota, Bob Kelly.
I could become the fucking governor of Minnesota.
Then that's fucking scary.
Yeah, it's scary.
Okay? That's the point I'm making. If he was still a wrestling guy, who cares?
Yeah.
But this guy was pretty damn powerful in politics.
Yeah, but he was...
And now he's saying there's a grassroots movement to make him the president.
Yeah, really?
That ain't happening.
Of course it's not happening.
And the other thing I want to know is, how does Howard handle him? I'm kind of curious. Does Howard go after him, or does
I think they enjoy his...
does he look at him kind of like as a sideshow?
I've heard 5 minutes of Stern interviewing. I don't know. The context was they were like, really? So you think that? Like more like the way Ron Bennington would probably interview the Westboro Church, whereas I'm sure that they think some of what he's saying is nonsense, but they're kind of going with it. But again, I heard 5 minutes, so he may go after
going
him.
with it because...
I don't think he's scared of him. I think it's just just the angle.
Yeah. Listening to him is good radio in itself.
Maybe
let him babble about a lot.
I just get too annoyed, and that's fine if the guy doesn't respect me. You don't have to, but don't be surprised if I make a point. If we're on the mic together and I make a point with you and we're debating back and forth. Yeah. I'm not debating a big guy. I'm just debating a guy. I'm not threatening you physically. I can't. He would throw me through a wall. I'm not deluded.
And you know that video continues to fucking do well. It's approaching 1 million views, and that video went everywhere. So, and he knows it went everywhere. So he should come back.
Well, he was embarrassed in it, so he doesn't like it. And I don't care. All you truthers out there, I know they hate me, and I don't care. Your anger is irrelevant to me.
Well,
I've debated you guys. I've had you on the air. We've had you on the air. And I just didn't like the guys that came on. And it's not your point of view. I just disagree with your point of view. But the guys that came on, that little baby boy defiance, and then anything that remotely connects to their point, they seize. And no matter how big the evidence is, if it counteracts their point, they ignore it. Mm-hmm. That's why I can't stand them.
I just hate that a lot of people think I shaved my head because they think it's me in that video. I want to basically put on the screen, this is not me, because some of those fuckers scare the shit out of me.
Oh, they're fucking the worst. They're fucking angry emails. Who gives a shit? Really? Gives a fuck. You didn't like it. I didn't like what he said, so we had an argument. People had an argument. Big deal.
Can I put a big arrow on that video?
Yes.
This is Jim Norton.
Please.
Okay.
Tell him Twitter. Jim Norton, yes, at Twitter.
I would sleep way better at night because they all think it's me. If I ever see you in the street, type of shit.
I've gotten that shit too. Really? Well, here's where I work, stupid. My calendar's up.
Yeah.
I'm not a tough guy, but don't give me a fucking phony outrage because me and the ex-wrestler, he can handle himself. If he didn't touch me...
Let's not get carried away. I mean, you do care. You go with a guy with a gun to the bathroom.
Well, we don't talk about guns on the show, Bobby. We don't know how many guns anybody has.
I mean, Kenny.
Yeah. But we go on the road together.
Well,
so you have a bodyguard. I mean, you're not, you know.
But the point is,
guns all over
but at the Comedy Cellar, I have a bodyguard. Or fucking Caroline's.
All right.
Colin Quinn could fight.
Colin Quinn can't fight.
Colin Quinn could get Jimmy out of some fucking situations.
No, he couldn't.
Yes, he can.
He would try, and it would end as soon as his knee would give out, and then his little fucking thin stylus fingers would break, and then his deviated septum would clog up.
But I don't threaten people like that. Like, I don't tell people, like, be here and I'll do this. That's why I don't respond to that kind of shit.
Right.
Like, I've been very angry at a lot of people, and I've never sent a cunty email like that. Like, hey, if I saw you in this, you wouldn't do a fucking thing. I have that anger.
Yeah,
I know the feeling. You think I haven't thought about shooting people? I would, believe me. I have visually and vividly fantasized about putting bullets in people, but I would never say that in an email. Hey, if I see you in the street, oh, fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Very good. Well,
very good.
No, it is, because perfect time. We got Jesse Ventura on Piers Morgan last night. I heard this was pretty damn good. Also, make sure I don't forget, Kirstie Alley fucking
fell.
She fucking broke her partner last night on Dance with the Stars. I don't watch the show, I really don't, but I saw the clip because it's going everywhere. She was too fucking fat and heavy and basically broke her partner last night.
This guy, he looked at it, he went, stop. Because she tried to keep going. He went, give me a second, you fat bitch.
Yeah.
Because he really got hurt.
It looks like I should be watching the show because Kirstie Alley broke her partner. The smoke machine malfunctioned last night, so one of the dancers disappeared in a fucking fog. And then Danny, I think Danny was the first one to turn me on to this Wendy Williams feet. You see that picture?
Yeah.
No.
Sexy. Oh. She has nice feet.
Worst feet ever.
What do they look like?
They look like a man's feet. First of all,
I just ate, man. Why couldn't we have done this before?
All right, we can wait.
Her feet bother you?
Oh, terribly.
We wouldn't suck her toes?
Where is it, Danny? TMZ?
Yeah, TMZ.
Would you suck her toes after she danced?
I would. You'd have to pay me tons of money. I would vomit.
You want to show it really fast, and then we'll do the
let's
Jesse
hear
Ventura
feet.
stuff. Then we'll get back into some serious shit.
To see them tootsies.
Look at these feet.
You know what? Hang on, I got them over here.
Maybe we should tweet this, Danny. If you send me a link, I'll give you fucking credit, and we'll just fucking tweet this shit to everybody, because that's all they want to see is the fucking tweet. What the fuck?
You better show some respect.
Look at these feet.
Shut up.
Look at these feet.
They're just awful. That big bunion on the one is really bad.
Wait a minute.
I'll
Just
tweet
fat
this in
lady
a second. Is that from dancing, or is that how her feet are normally?
Yeah, is that from...
Is that like a fucking...
She's saying it's from Dancing with the
is
Stars,
it-
but I think even if we're all healed up there's a world of hurt going on.
Could you go down? Because did you see the other foot with the... Yeah, this one with the nail polish.
I have less of a problem with that one
No,
because
that's a baby toe growing out of the middle.
Baby toe growing out.
Probably a midget's foot.
But then it has nail polish on it. Like you treat it with respect. You don't treat a toe like that with respect. You ignore it if you're getting a fucking painted. You keep it outside. Why would you bring attention to a little?
Why exactly? I would paint that
baby.
I would paint that like a knuckle.
Right. You don't give that shit respect.
Oh, that's
They
funny.
believe it's not there. Look at that fucking thing.
That twat. She's probably
All right.
really confident she has flip flops.
When I tweet this picture, it's the TMZ page. Make sure you go down a little bit so you see the other one with the fucking nail polish. All right. Jesse won't say what he did in the military. Here we go. We had this fucking interview already. Piers Morgan finally got it last night.
When you served in Vietnam,
Yep.
you didn't, I don't think, actually have live combat there, right? But you were serving. Is that correct?
I don't talk. When I got back, I'm a Navy SEAL. When I got back from my service overseas on my first deployment, the My Lai massacre had just happened, or was just in the headlines. I was brought in by my commanding officer, my entire team, and we were ordered. We were to discuss nothing of anything we did or any ops we were on, because normally the SEALs are all part of the top secret operations. So I do not discuss anything I did in the military, other than to say I served honorably and received an honorable discharge, and I showed up, which is more than what George Bush can say.
He's right about that. He did show up, and I always agree with him when he says about how these fucking scumbags like Cheney took deferments and all that stuff, while guys like that went over. But it's like, why? If someone says to you, were you in combat, even if it was top secret, you can say I was in combat. You either were or you weren't.
You're saying he's trying to make more of what he did in the military?
I believe he is.
Some people say that.
Yes, I believe he
Not
is.
some. A lot of people say that he makes more of it.
I've never heard anybody
I
not admit they were in combat.
I didn't serve, so I should shut the fuck up.
No,
but
you should. It's a
still.
fair question. Here's why it's a fair question. Because I respect the fact that he was in the military. My father's military. I have a tremendous respect for that.
My dad was military.
Yeah,
My real dad was military.
exactly.
But
Just
where's
dumped
he?
a load and moved on.
Vietnam. He went to Vietnam. He was fucked up. He was in combat. He got fucked up. Came back crazy.
But if your whole thing, if every argument you say, I served, I'm a Navy SEAL, then your military service is a fair question. It's not like people going after the guy going, hey, what did you do? He's bringing it up. He's the one who is always saying, I'm a Navy SEAL. So, okay, you can't discuss specifics. I understand that. Were you or were you not in Vietnam?
You can fucking discuss.
Now, they're top secret shit. You can't.
You can fucking talk about what you did. That's
Nah,
bullshit.
they have a code, Bobby.
It's a
We've talked to a few of these guys. They get really mad when every once in a while we'll have someone on the show that talks about some of the stuff they did, and then these phones are lit with guys going, "What the fuck, dude? You know you're not supposed to talk about that shit."
Well, I watch History Channel and discover every fucking other thing is top secret missions they're reenacting. I mean, they talk about it all the fucking time. There's a million books about it. These guys don't keep their trap shut, and he didn't do anything. It's like fucking Nick Nolte in Tropic Thunder. He's a fucking asshole.
All right.
I don't think. I think that he's giving. It's almost like you can't construct these little boxes in which you are unquestionable. Like he makes definitive statements like, "I am a Navy SEAL," which again I respect that. But he's saying that for effect, and he's saying that to put himself in a certain position in the argument. And then when you say, "Okay, I respect you're a Navy SEAL," were you in Vietnam? If he said no, I would still respect his military service. Right. But he probably feels that if he wasn't, that would lessen the strength of him saying it like that.
And some people think he got caught up in a lie because now, I mean, the instant feedback.
He was UDT technically, underwater demolition team, which was not Navy SEAL. Right. He became they integrated Navy SEAls.
But people are in capital letters saying he wasn't a Navy SEAL.
Right, UDT, which is
he was a frogman.
Yeah, the UDT
and the Navy SEALs guys. That's kind of like if you're NYPD and now you got the traffic cops wearing the NYPD logo. It fucking pisses the NYPD off, right?
Well, let me ask you. Then military guys would know this a lot better. But didn't the UDT come before the SEALs? And then the SEALs, they became the SEAls. How much longer after he was there, or was it while he was there? I don't know.
Well, is it a technicality then?
Well, I don't know if it is or not. Are the duties the same?
Well, you got the Navy has the Seabees that go in before everybody. They're actually pretty badass. You know, the Navy gets a bad rap for just bringing people there on boats, but the Seabees actually go in before everybody and build the bridges and all the fucking camps and all that shit. You got different divisions, so it might have been something.
I don't know.
If he had to go in before the SEAls, that's pretty
It was
fucked
UDT, which again, I'm almost positive.
If I was one of those guys, I would build a shitty bridge, I think.
Why?
Just because my work ethic with hard labor sucks.
Just be missing bolts.
I don't know.
Or I'd be scared. You put together a bridge like you do IKEA furniture,
right? I would just be scared.
Do we have any military guys that can correct us on that, or
they're ringing? So
yeah, let's just. I want to hear one of these.
I don't have one yet, but
okay,
we'll get one. Let's play the second clip. Jesse explains why we're actually in Afghanistan on Piers Morgan last night.
Do you want to know why we're in Afghanistan?
I'm fascinated.
It came to me 6 months ago when a story came out that they found a vein of lithium there that they say is worth $1 trillion. Now, what is lithium used for? Every cell phone, every computer, and soon-to-be electric cars. Yeah, so why don't they just, Piers, tell me the truth?
No, but Jesse, that's not.
We're going there to get lithium so that we can live like we live.
Right.
Don't sit and try to sell me we're to give democracy to the world.
Jesse, it sounds a bit like you've been on lithium. Come on, you can't seriously imagine we've gone to war in Afghanistan over lithium. Come on. Be serious.
I am serious.
My brother just served a 7-month tour of Afghanistan.
I am serious.
He did not risk his life for lithium.
What did he risk it for?
He risked it because everybody knows that Osama bin Laden was training people to commit atrocities in Afghanistan.
We all know that?
That's a fact.
You're talking to the wrong guy.
Well, you're a conspiracy theorist.
I don't believe 9/11.
But you don't believe in anything.
No, I
You believe
it.
everything has an ulterior motive.
Not true. Not true at all.
Wow, good for Piers.
he's right. And lithium, I thought it was oil, guys. I thought it was oil.
He said he only learned this 6 months ago, Jimmy.
Oh, it's kind of like when he came up with his 9/11 theory. He had been at Ground Zero, saw the demolition guy, saw those buildings. He was down there, and he didn't think conspiracy then. It was a couple of years after that, I believe. Somebody may know the timeline better than me. But he wasn't down at Ground Zero. The guy who, every time you call him out on that, he goes, oh, okay, I guess you understand explosives. I guess you understand, meaning he's the authority. Well, hey, authority, while you were there, why didn't you see something?
Right.
You were at the wreckage.
And that's exactly what he does when he's in over his head. Oh, I guess you believe, you know.
That's a non-point you just made there. It's a non-point.
If you know, then tell us how they fucking did it. We've asked him many times, how do they fucking wire that building? Like Anna said many times, that all these people fucking working and doing their jobs, and you're secretly wiring this fucking building or painting it with the fucking thermite paint and no one notices?
The only level of conspiracy, and I don't even believe this, but if a conspiracy theorist said, look, I believe it happened the way they did, but I think we had intel that indicated it, and the government stepped aside because they wanted it. I still don't believe that, but that's not as crazy to me, even though I think it's wrong, as wiring the bill. If you really think they wired those buildings, you're a dummy. You're a fucking dumb person. I mean, we talked about this a million times, but you're dumb. Because what if one of those planes didn't take off? What if one of them had mechanical issues and had to go back to the gate? Then you have one building with a plane crash into it and one wired to blow up. You fucking idiots.
Yeah, what if the fucking passengers flipped out and fucking took over the plane
like they did on the fourth flight? Yes,
yeah, and crashed it into fucking.
And why did they need the buildings to actually come down? The planes hitting the buildings was certainly bad enough.
Oh,
they just hit a fucking grand slam that day. But if the buildings never went down, it certainly would have been extremely powerful as well.
Lithium.
That's why we're there. He's a crazy person.
But why?
He's full of shit.
He's fucking crazy. You think he's full of shit, though?
Yes, full of shit. He's just trying to further himself. And I think he believes what he says with a lot of stuff. I'm not saying he's a liar. I just think that he's fucking full of shit because I think he takes whatever he can to further his image as the conspiracy theory leader.
Sure.
Yeah, he's crazy. I mean, he's got problems.
I don't know if he's crazy.
No, he does. He has a fucking...
No one wants to say that, though.
He's crazy. No, he's fucking nuts, dude.
It seems like
he's got a problem. He's got a problem.
And then he'll say stuff that I agree with. Which
what he says, the way he says it is fact. There's no other option. What he says is how it is. That's not how fucking... That's
how petulant children act.
Well, that narcissist, man. He's fucking nuts. He believes that he is a god.
All right, listen.
He's out of his mind.
The phones are lit. A lot of military guys. If you're on hold right now, just make it quick. I want to race through all these.
Yeah, and I want to know
very quickly if possible. We're going to start with Ron in Hartford. Ron, what do you got, buddy?
Hey. Yeah, just to answer to Jimmy's question. UDT teams were around in World Wars I and II, I believe. They were rolled into the SEAL teams in 1962 by Kennedy.
Okay.
So, yeah, he is a Navy SEAL because he was UDT. They were rolled together as a single unit. But comparatively to today's Navy SEALs, the training is nothing like today's.
And it's kind of like the meter maid thing. Like I tried to make the point earlier. They got rolled into the NYPD. So, what does that mean in the end? Did he get respect, Ron?
Yeah. Well, in the 60s, the underwater demolitions was the SEALs. It was the same thing. Nowadays, there's no separation between the two, but back then there was, and then Kennedy rolled them into the same unit.
Okay.
So why does he say? How come he never says UDT, which I think is respectable?
Because that's not as cool as Navy SEALs.
And no one knows UDT.
Yeah.
Navy SEALs, people kind of have a feeling what that's all about, right? Thank you, Ron. I want to give everyone a chance really quickly here. Jamie in Staten Island, go ahead.
Yeah, I used to have a high school teacher's name, Mr. Walter. He served in Korea. And, the worst thing you can like somebody in the military says they ever killed someone. I found this out. Because he just looked at me with a deadpan look in his face and says, I'm here, aren't I?
No, that means he didn't kill anyone. If I went, I would tell people I killed people.
No,
Wouldn't you, Bobby?
Yeah.
Some guys don't glorify taking life just to survive.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, if I killed somebody, I wouldn't fucking have a problem with it.
You wouldn't have a problem with killing somebody?
No, not at all. I've thought about it. Even when you went to Iraq, I got in my head, I was like, yeah, I'll fucking kill anybody I have to. I'd kill somebody.
Someone's saying UDT and Navy SEALs didn't come together till 8 years after Ventura left.
That's the impression I was under.
How does this guy know?
This guy just said 62. I don't know why I think that's...
Ray in Texas, how do you know this?
I'm retired military, 25 years, and I worked a lot with various other services and special forces. I was Air Force, but we work a lot with the Navy, and it's you can even look up Jesse Ventura on Wikipedia, I think, and I think it even describes the dates of service he had, and then you can look up UDT and Navy SEALs and find out the date where they merged, and they're 8 years apart.
Okay.
In the wrong way.
Yeah, what year do they merge, do you know?
Whatever, I'm driving my car right now on my way to work, but I know that if you look at his dates of service and when he was in Vietnam and when he got out of the Navy, and then you look up, because I had an argument with somebody one time, and, we had to go online and prove this, whatever, and I actually at the time had lost the argument. And interestingly enough, that famous photograph that he shows of himself wearing his, tiger stripe uniform and holding the M16 and whatnot was actually an outtake or a shot from the movie Predator. It wasn't actually when he was in the Navy.
Get the fuck out of here. I would love to know that's true.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my own research after the show.
Yeah, the 8-year part is absolutely true. I mean, you can and frankly, you guys, look them both up. I mean, you've got all kind of computers there.
Okay.
You can look it up. You can look up the dates of it. And as I said, I thought he really was a Navy SEAL, but I lost it. I think I lost a round of drinks in a bar one time over that one.
Okay, all right, man. Thank you. Road Soda in Houston. He goes, just because he works at NASA doesn't make him an astronaut. Good point, I guess. And then this guy wants you to get off and tour his dick. Let's go to Johnny in Brooklyn. Johnny!
Hey, what's up, fellas?
What's up, Johnny?
Hey, I've been listening to your show for a couple of weeks, man. I like it, but this guy, Jimmy, what's your problem with Jesse, man? He's fighting a good fight.
I'll tell you my problem with Jesse. I'll tell you. We had interviewed him. I respected him. We had interviewed him 3 times. The first time he and I debated back and forth, and look, when you're saying stuff like he says, you're going to have debates, and then he pushes them. You can't see it because you're listening on the radio, but like when he's in the room with you, he pushes the mic away. Well, hold on, dude. I'm telling you my problem. You asked me a question.
Let him answer the question, Johnny.
I didn't hear you.
Okay. He pushes the mic away when he's not getting his way in an argument. You got me good, Ben. That's funny.
That was a fucking good one.
I think he even cleared his throat and fucking revved up for that one. That was a good one.
Jesse explains his theory on 9/11 on Piers Morgan. Like I said, we did this years ago, but he's finally doing it on a show that has a larger audience, obviously.
Let's move to 9/11.
Okay.
Your theory of 9/11 is what?
My theory of 9/11 is that we certainly, at best, we knew it was going to happen. They allowed it to happen to further their agenda in the Middle East and go to these wars.
So just to clarify, President George Bush knew that 9/11 was going to happen, that 3,000 people were going to get murdered.
They had all the information. If you looked at the NSA documents, if you look, well, put it to you this way. The August 6th memo was pretty clear.
Yeah, but do you genuinely believe, Jesse Ventura, that President George W. Bush knew 9/11 was going to happen?
No.
Why do you say it then?
No.
Well, why do you say it?
But I believe Dick Cheney knew it.
Really?
Yep.
You believe he knew it was going to happen?
I believe they had a good... Well, why did John Ashcroft quit flying commercial planes that summer and switch only to private planes? Why did that happen?
See, pause right there for 1 second.
Honestly believe.
That's what he does. That's what he does that I hate so much.
Yeah, we don't know if that's true. We'd have to look it up ourselves.
Even if it is true.
Right.
Because he asks a question, you say, do you think that's true? Do you think, Jesse, that Dick Cheney knew? Why do you think that? Well, why did he's answering that question with another question. He asked you why you think Dick Cheney knew. Mm-hmm. Show me evidence that Dick Cheney fucking knew it.
Let's stay right there. Right.
Why did John Ashcroft do it? I don't know.
We didn't ask you that.
But that sounds ominous. Anything you ask sounds ominous. Yeah. Well, why did John Ashcroft all of a sudden start wearing red suits? I don't know. And because you don't know, that makes it seem like he has said something right. It's bullshit. It's a fucking horrible arguing technique. And I hate that shit in the debate.
It's not horrible because a lot of people use it.
It's nonsense.
Yeah.
And it's easy to win.
You don't honestly believe these people knew. I don't believe you believe that. You don't honestly think Dick Cheney knew it was going to happen. You can't do.
Do you really believe,
Piers?
Do you really believe?
See? Right there. Again, do you, another question. Do you really, and then his thing is, I'm just asking questions. But you're not. You're bullshitting. It's not.
Jesse says evil people can control the government.
We believe, Piers, it's not irrational. Excuse me. Do you really believe that evil people can't be in charge of governments? If you do, go talk to the Germans. They know a little about that evil people can get in charge.
Oh, by the way, great example, Jess. So I guess because he said that we couldn't prove that bin Laden did it, so therefore the Taliban shouldn't have turned him over. I guess that we never should have killed Hitler then, because he had not been put through a trial first. I guess we shouldn't have we shouldn't have, we didn't kill him, he killed himself, but we shouldn't have targeted Hitler. I guess he didn't do anything. Hitler was, as far as I know, I mean, there was the tribunals after, but he himself, he never had a chance to verbally defend himself, so what, maybe he didn't do it?
Mm-hmm. Well, he would have if we caught him. He killed himself.
Yeah, I know.
So,
point I'm making is, everybody knew Hitler did what he did. And you can't, I mean, there's these idiot Holocaust deniers, but we all know Hitler did what he did. We knew it was bin Laden. And he was saying the Taliban shouldn't have turned him over because it wasn't proven in court. Mm-hmm. He said that there was no trial. Where was the evidence?
Mm-hmm. The governments are run by people. People can be bad.
So Dick Cheney is involved. Ashcroft's involved. All these people got together and planned 9. Come on. It's madness.
Oh, that's madness. But you'll fully accept that 19 Islamic radicals armed with box cutters taking orders from a guy in a cave in Afghanistan could defeat our multi-billion-dollar air defense system, which the Russians couldn't do.
Jesse, that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened.
Really?
Unfortunately, they exposed a massive flaw in Homeland Security.
And what was it?
The flaw was that these guys had been training and often aiming to go one way, aiming to land planes in a certain manner, in fact, not even land them, wanted to take off but not land. All these were clues that this was a weird set of circumstances. I'm afraid that's exactly what happened. And the trouble being a conspiracy theorist, I've got great respect for you, and your book's very readable. The problem is, once you start buying into these theories, you never stop. And with the internet these days, there's a theory about everything.
Wow, fucking Piers, I like that.
And this is what Jesse misses when he said, this is why it drives me nuts. His question, so you think 19 Islamic radicals could defeat the multi-billion-dollar, whatever he said, air defense system, which the Russians couldn't do? Well, holy mackerel, that sounds impressive. I guess they couldn't. But they didn't defeat the air defense system. What they did was they, like he said, they exploited weaknesses not only in airport security, but in what pilots were trained to do. Mm-hmm. Because I believe at that point, pilots were trained to negotiate.
Right.
So, because it had never happened before.
It was a rule. It was a rule. They
were going to land somewhere.
They were going to land.
Pilots always thought, well, this sucks, but we're going to land somewhere.
No. Pilots had to get out of the cockpit and deal with the terrorists. That was the rule for them.
They were not going to have their throats cut. Yeah. No training prepared the pilots for if you don't open the door because they'll cut your throat and crash the plane.
Right.
So they exploited what was a blind side in fucking even pilot training. And one of those flights, the pilots were told that the planes had been hijacked, and they didn't lock the cockpit door. Mm-hmm. It might have been the last flight. Mm-hmm. But there was so many mistakes made. But they didn't. His question, he's not talking about this. Why doesn't Jesse talk about that? Well, do you think 19 radicals with box cutters? Well, here's what else he forgets. They had fake bombs. So people believed that they had explosive devices. And why is he not saying that?
The pilots didn't make a mistake. That was the first time for all this
shit. It had never happened, of course.
It had never happened before, so they didn't know what the fuck to do.
We almost forget how it was before 9/11. You're going through airports and flying. I mean, the cockpit doors were open half the time. You could see the fucking pilots like it was nothing. They would wander around the plane like it was nothing.
But do you see what he left out? You see what he left out?
Of course.
The pilots were trained to come out, and also the fake explosives that they had, and people were saying that there's Islamic, Muslim guys with bombs.
Right.
So he's leaving all of that out, and that's why I can't stand this guy.
And he's right down the hall. Can we get fucking Jesse in here somehow? Could you ask his people?
I can try.
Do you want it, Jimmy?
If he's willing to come in, I'm absolutely fine with it. I just hate begging him to come in.
True.
I don't care if he comes in.
Good
Go
point.
fuck himself.
All right, Jesse
He's
explains.
welcome whenever he wants to come.
We're almost done. He was on Piers Morgan yesterday. Jesse explains the JFK assassination.
John F. Kennedy's assassination.
Yep.
Who did that?
It was done by William Harvey, who was the head of the CIA's assassination unit at that time. David Morales was directly involved in it. He likewise is the gentleman who killed Che Guevara down in Bolivia in '67, where they put him up against a firing wall and killed him and shot and killed him. Morales was part of that. I believe that because I saw, heard, and read a confession from E. Howard Hunt on a deathbed to his son. And when he confessed, it was not a confession of remorse. It was a confession of pride. He wanted the world to know that we helped you out. We killed John Kennedy, this communist sympathizer.
But Jesse, aren't you being slightly naive? People can say anything on a deathbed to immortalize themselves. When I die, I might say, you know what? I don't want anyone to know about my long-standing love affair with Elizabeth Taylor. It doesn't mean anything, does it?
I can be slightly naive, except the fact that you're not going to convince me he could make those shots.
Why?
Because I tried them, and I'm an expert marksman. He wasn't.
By the way, in the Warren Commission, you can see that he was not only a marksman, he was a sharpshooter. Oswald in the military tested as a sharpshooter, and I believe that's right above marksman. And then when he was leaving the military, when they said the stakes weren't as high, he tested as a marksman. So I don't know why he would say that. And those shots have been reenacted. I want to say the specialist who did his name was Miller. I'm going by memory. Who not with the same rifle not only made those shots but improved slightly on the time. So I would like to know why he's saying that. If I'm wrong, somebody can correct me. But I believe that Oswald was a sharpshooter.
And he gives more evidence here, Jesse.
But you want to know another reason why it's a farce? I'll tell you why personally. My mother, before she died, she had a big trunk. And when she died, in the bottom of that trunk, she had every Minneapolis paper of that weekend that John Kennedy was killed. This was in Minneapolis's Monday morning paper. That means this is 63. So it had to go out early in the afternoon of Sunday to be in the Monday morning paper. And you know what was down in the bottom? Dallas police declare case closed.
Come on,
now,
Jesse.
It's right in the paper.
Jesse.
Oswald, Kennedy's killed on Friday. Ruby kills Oswald on Sunday, and the Dallas PD says the case is closed. They haven't interviewed a witness. There was no confession, but the case is closed.
Well, newspapers...
Come on, Piers. What type of investigation is that?
By the way, can we pause this too?
That's one newspaper. Maybe the fucking newspaper got it wrong.
Yeah, maybe they took a quote from some dumb Dallas cop who said something stupid he shouldn't have said. And my question is, if Oswald was I don't want to keep going through this, why was he allowed to be questioned for days by the fucking police? I forget the name of the guy who was doing most of the questioning, but he's an interrogation expert. Why were they allowed to have access to Oswald alone? Oswald was trying to get an attorney. The guy he wanted in New York, he couldn't get, wasn't responding back to him. So, come on, stop it. And because some dumb cop in Dallas made a statement that he shouldn't have made, it's closed, we got the guy. The guy might have said, a reporter might have said, hey, how's the case going? Okay, open and close, we got him. And then Dallas police say, that's your proof?
Yeah, that could have been some excitement on their part.
The guy interrogating him was named Tony the Interrogator Belushi.
No. He had been fired for pedophilia.
Oh, shit, I'm sorry.
Never, ever heard anybody suggest the investigations were closed on the Monday. Within hours.
It was in the paper. Dallas police.
Well, you believe everything you read in the papers?
I did then.
I have rarely encountered a man who believes less about what he reads in the papers. And now you want me to base your whole conspiracy theory
Not my whole.
on the fact that you've read one line in your mother's newspaper from the time?
I've studied John Kennedy for 25 years, Piers. I'm not basing this on reading one line.
He's getting
in the
his
paper.
ass handed to him.
Yeah, of course. Once again, he is, and he can't walk off CNN, right?
Piers is murdering him in this. Murdering him in this debate.
He studied the case for 25 years, but he points out a paper he found in a trunk when his mom died.
Pierce is very smart,
ridiculous.
though. But the way he's ripping him apart is by actually feeding his self-esteem. He's saying, come on, you don't really do this.
Right.
You're better than that. So he's fucking brilliant in the way he did. He's not arguing with him. He's not taking it to a fucking
great job by Piers Morgan.
Place.
I have a newfound respect for Piers Morgan.
Piers is doing pretty
great.
good, man.
I never listened to a show.
He's settling in. He's all right. All right, we should take a break. This all came up today just because Jesse's making the rounds again.
Yeah,
he was on Piers last night. He's on Howard right now, and
cool. I'm sure he's riveting,
doing a shitload of shows.
Lithium,
but not ours.
Who cares? Literally, we had him on before. He was fine, but he does every show. It's not a special big get.
Yeah.
I don't respect anybody. Me and Chris Jericho had a fight. Yeah. And you know what? He came back, and that was the end of it. Yeah. It was an argument, and I like Chris a lot. Yeah. I really do. Yeah. And it was a dumb argument that got out of hand.
You were out of line.
We both know fucking another one that could smash me. But, we made up, and we're friends now.
Well, the Jesse thing with the riffraff,
Had he not touched me, and I'm being really honest, I would never
He knows he has awful hair.
insulted him personally like that. But I've said it before. When he touched me, I had two choices. Because I've been matching him, asshole for asshole, this for that. Either touch him back, and that takes it to a physical level, which I'm not going to do, or insult him. So I insulted him.
What'd you say again about his hair?
You fucking, thanks for touching me with your, something like fucking riffraff from Rocky Horror hairdo. He cut it too, by the way. Have you seen it? It's nice and short now. That stupid hairdo.
Probably because of you. He's probably lost a lot of night's sleep over that comment.
Careless.
I've thrown out clothes because of Norton.
Look, there's the fucking hairdo again. This is so perfect. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to get real busy after the break. We got Otto and George here, and Jason Ellis is here as well. So we'll throw everyone in the studio and see what happens, okay? All right.
Life it.
Good evening. Good evening. Food, all right. All right. No, he's dead. No, my health doesn't allow it.
Gregorio!
Antonio!
Amy.
Gregorio!
Antonio!
Amy.